And happy Monday. Welcome to the Plug Talk Sports Show. This is episode 61 here. Another Monday night. Is Jonka, I'm not sure what he's doing. He was chewing on something. I don't know.
It's hot in here, bro.
Please don't. That looks wrong. Please don't do that. Anyways, weird way to start off a Monday night, but here we are, episode 61. Daniel Torres, Giancarlo Morera, John Ostap, as we know, and Brandon Hernandez, the man up there in Gainesville. He's our eyes and ears of Central Florida. How are you guys doing?
Good, pretty well.
Pretty good.
Finally got myself acquainted. I got more furniture now. Same air mattress, but now, check it out. A bed frame, right?
Nice.
We're living up right now.
We're making progress. So, last week we started with good news. So this week will be bad news. Jonka, you're up first. Worst thing you saw this past week?
Man, I hate to say it, but it would have to be one of the segments that's coming up in a little bit. It would have to be Udonis Haslem signing with the Heat, bro. Man, you know what happened when I saw that notification, bro? I literally threw my phone across the room, and I just yelled the biggest F word to the sky. And I'm like, I'm not watching NBA basketball this season. I put it on my pride, and that's I'm gonna leave it at that. Just leave it at that.
Man.
Brandon?
I mean, because he probably took the words out of my mouth. I'm not gonna lie. There's so many, and we're gonna go into it later on in this segment. But there's so many guys that could have picked up for that last roster spot for the Miami Heat.
Let me tell you, a lot of people were not happy with that plug of the week that we had. A lot of people were getting hate at Jonka for saying taking that.
Come at me. You know where I'm at.
You tell them, man. But I'm telling you right now, besides the UD news, probably the worst thing I saw, Jason Sanders missing a potential game-winning kick in the preseason opener, right? That I just couldn't believe because he made 58, 57 yarders before that game, and he misses an easy bunny hop of 30-something yards to win it. Just, I don't know, because I picked him up on fantasy, and I just hate when kickers are just last minute, always messing things up. I hate that. Really hate that.
Did you guys happen to see the Cowboys? I don't even know what he is. I think returner. He returned a punt, and then he also returned a kickoff.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. I'm not going to lie. I really enjoyed that. Worst thing for me is going to have to be, you guys didn't know, Luke Knox, linebacker from FIU, passed away this past week. I believe his brother's on the Buffalo Bills. It's still not, determined what the cause of death was. They already said that there was no foul play involved. But regardless, the cause of death, whatever it was, if it gets out there, it gets out there. But we shouldn't really be caring too much about what it was. It's a death, ultimately it's a death. And the following day, it was on Wednesday when he passed. He was rushed to the hospital on Wednesday. It was in the afternoon, and he died on that same Wednesday. And FIU at night, the players found out about it. They were told, and practices were canceled Thursday, and I believe Friday as well. So they've been kind of it's even worse. The story gets worse. So Coach McIntyre, who's the brand new head coach at FIU, knew Luke Knox for a while. They paired up together again at FIU. So he said it was a tough loss, and he personally went to go pick up Luke Knox's parents at the airport. So you can imagine, how that was, that experience picking them up at the airport, when they just lost their son.
They haven't reported any, obviously not the cause of death, but anything that when they found him, if it was was he bruised? Was he was there a puncture wound? Was he bleeding? Was he just knocked the hell out?
They haven't reported any of that. It's been very secret, been kept very secret.
That's kind of suspicious.
All we can do is really just send our condolences. And, we put out a tweet last week giving our condolences to the FIU community. So that definitely was the worst thing out of the week. But let's get to good news. Jonka, best thing you saw last week?
Best thing. Oh, it would have to be our Inter Miami being able to pull off these W's, obviously against Toronto and previous. So right now I think they're in fifth right now. So I gotta give them their props. They're maintaining where they should be. So hopefully they can maintain that position and not lose these next couple games. But gotta give them the props. Going to Miami.
I mean, not even that. I'm telling you right now, we're going for the number 1 spot. We are going for the number 1 spot. I'm telling you, I can see it. It's possible. Not mathematically, but in my heart, it's possible. But Inter's on its way. Inter's on his way, though.
Brandon, best thing?
Best thing? That's a great question. Well, best thing I would probably have to say, because, of course, in Gainesville, I do a lot of reporting for, internships, also for the Alligator. Of course, I'm always making articles back and forth with a lot of different panels. But the coolest thing was I actually had the ability to be, as a reporter, at the University of Florida's football practice facilities.
Saw that.
Actually,
nice.
the practice field, reporting a little bit there. And, of course, you can find on my Twitter, BrandH2001. And, again, plug. But on my Twitter, I was out there putting a lot of things out. And actually cool enough that not only was I out there with the players, however, some of the former players came by. And one of them being Trey Byrne, former tight end for the Gators, as well as Kevin Carter, all-time great in not only Gator history, but honestly, hopefully one day Hall of Famer in the NFL in the defensive tackle. So, really was blessed this weekend to have a lot of experience.
Nice.
For me, it's going to have to be something that I have never experienced before. I know this shouldn't be a good thing, but I thought it was fun. Many of you know, and I've become vocal about it, but many of you know that I am a community captain of Miami-Dade for the Governor Ron DeSantis campaign here in Florida. Look, I'm not the type of person that will argue with you about it. If you don't like him, cool. If you like him, cool. Let's just respect everyone's opinions. But set aside, I have to go. He had a rally yesterday morning. I'm working at the rally, and the rally was at 1 o'clock, and I had to get there 8 a.m. Get there 8 a.m. at the venue, and I'm getting out of the car, and there's a group already of 20 protesters across the street. And I was the only one out there at the moment in the parking lot. And I'm here looking down, and I'm getting my keys. I'm putting them in my pocket. All I hear is a bullhorn from across the street heckling at me. And I'm telling you, man, from the short 2 minutes that I walked from my car to the front door of the venue and I walked in, I was called all sorts of things. You'd figure like, oh man, that sucks or whatever, but like I kind of laughed because some of the things were quite comical that they were yelling at me. I'm here making my way, ignoring it, whatever. I got called everything from like a Nazi to a fascist to a racist to a pig to a woman hater. So it was quite interesting. I brought it up because that's never happened to me before. I've never experienced that.
Right.
So actually firsthand, like stuff you see on the news, like firsthand actually experiencing it, I was like, wow, okay, this is a real thing. This is happening right now. Like it's 8 a.m. on a Sunday and this is happening. All right, cool. Great way to start the day. I love being called a Nazi. It's just interesting. It was just interesting.
That's a crazy world. You never know. It's a crazy world with some people.
And actually, it gets even more interesting. People, you start thinking to yourself, people really will do anything. In the middle of, not even the middle, like beginning of the speech, somehow, some way, one of them bought a ticket and went in. Beginning of the speech, guy just starts yelling out of nowhere. Just starts yelling, bro. I've never seen like the police, they reacted so fast. They grabbed. I'm standing on the side, VIP entrance. I'm standing on the side there, and I see the police dragging him out like by the arms, and his feet are like sliding on the floor. And I was like, well, there goes that guy.
Yep.
That was just interesting, man. Interesting things you see in today's world. Anyway, we're going to get to something also very interesting. This is the first topic of the night. I watched this documentary. I'm not sure if either of you have seen it on Netflix about, I don't know if you guys remember Manti T'eo.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched this documentary, out of the blue. It was yesterday. I was like, you know what? I sat down actually with my parents. Neither of my parents knew about the story. I remember vividly living this story. And dude, it's a very good documentary. I think you guys should check it out. But you know what? I feel bad now because I gotta admit, I gotta hold myself accountable. I was one of those people amongst millions of people who also made fun of him. And now when you look at the story and I see in the documentary, I see him speak and see it from his shoes, like I felt bad for the guy. I felt because it was not his fault. What happened was not his fault. So basically, this guy, Manti T'eo, he was naive. He was gullible. I will say that. He was very naive, very gullible. He meets this girl online on Facebook. And they start chatting back and forth. Now, if you guys don't know, Manti T'eo's Hawaiian. The girl's name and her ethnicity in which she represented herself was Hawaiian. So he was like, oh, like someone from back home. And they just started hitting it off. But what he didn't know is that person on the other side of the screen was actually a man who wanted to be a transgender. And what he did was he made a Facebook profile and stole pictures from some other girl and now this was happening in like 2009, 2010, and 2011, 2012. At that point, like the term as we know nowadays, catfishing, like wasn't a big thing as we all know today. So that was fairly new. So he gets to know this girl. He dates this girl for 3 years. And in the 3 years, they never met face to face. And every time he tried to like FaceTime her and stuff like that, she'd be like, oh, like, I have bad connection. Like either she won't answer or say I have bad connection. And it would just be a black screen and they'll just hear each other's voices. It's so sickening to the point that he used a voice changer microphone to make it seem that it was a female's voice. So Manti T'eo was being bought into this. And eventually what happens is that the guy who's acting to be the girl tells Manti T'eo, someone reaches out to him from his actual family. He told him to go along with it and says, oh, she died. Now, this came on the afternoon on the same day. That morning, his grandmother had just passed away. And so this guy goes out to a freaking Notre Dame game. He's having a phenomenal season. Senior year, it's the senior year where he goes to the national championship, and they get obliterated by Alabama, but he makes the national championship, and everyone's buying into this story. ESPN's buying into the story. They're like, wow, his grandma passed away this morning, and now his girlfriend that afternoon, like, and this guy's playing phenomenal. Like, this is an inspirational, motivational story.
Right.
What ends up happening, all this passes by. The year after, he's preparing to go to the NFL. Right when the combine is happening and the draft is about to happen, after he knows, like he's been knowing, I think for a year now, that this girl he was dating is dead. He gets a call, and they tell him, it's me, I'm alive. And then he's like, this is a sick joke. Like, you guys are playing a sick joke. She's dead. Like, this is sick. And he hangs up. But it was the guy calling to say, what it really was, like what the story was, because the guy felt bad seeing Manti T'eo on national television in tears, going through all this heartbreak, and it's all a lie. He's living a lie. So he calls to tell Manti T'eo that it's actually a dude that wants to be a transgender, and the whole thing is fake, and those pictures are not even real. The story gets out, and just memes and jokes of Manti T'eo, of him holding the air and it's just a fake girlfriend, and all those things come out, and he had a hard time in his career. For him, he explained that football was his, stress relief, but he was starting to feel, he started in the NFL with the Chargers, who were the San Diego Chargers at the time. He started to feel anxiety every time he, was on the field and stuff like that because it's just the pressure. So the bottom line is I feel bad for this guy. He retired last year from the NFL. He finished his career as a Chicago Bear. He was in the Chargers, moved to the Saints, and then finished off his career with the Chicago Bears. I feel bad for this guy. I think we live in a world that people are quick to point finger, judge, and make fun of somebody. But hearing the story from his point of view, from his shoes, like, the guy had to go to mental health counseling because of the stunt of this other person, what they did to him. And honestly, I said it. I told my parents off the documentary, Manti T'eo's a nice dude, because I would have sued that dude for defamation because he pretty much ruined his career.
Oh yeah, and not even that. I mean, emotionally,
yeah,
that's horrible. That's horrible. But I mean, also what's crazy about it too. I mean, that entire documentary. That's basically like what we see from MTV Catfish. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this happens to multiple. I mean, thousands of people probably across not only the country, but who knows the world. But definitely crazy. It was one of those sports stories that it blindsides you because it's crazy that an athlete can even be involved like that in Catfish. But man, and what was the documentary called again? Where can you find it?
It's on Netflix. I'll tell you right now. I think it's his actual name. I think it's called Manti T'eo. I'll confirm with you the actual name right now. I'm logging into my account, but it's called a Netflix film, Untold: The Girlfriend Who Didn't Exist.
Wow. Oh, yeah.
It's a very good, well-directed, well-filmed documentary, and at the end of it, I felt bad for the dude.
No, yeah. No, I'm gonna have to go see that because I'm all over sport documentaries. You know what I mean? Last Dance, The Captain, and probably from Vice. The Dark Side of the Ring. If you haven't seen that one.
Yeah. But it's kind of bright, but that's it. Yeah.
Okay, I see it. Yeah.
But what drew me to the documentary is that I think all three of us, we can say, like, I think throughout high school, it was through our high school years, like, we lived the Manti T'eo story. Like, I vividly remember that time when the news came out and said his girlfriend didn't exist. I vividly remember it. So I got drawn to the documentary because of that. I wanted to get more in-depth details, see what it was about.
Yeah.
Jonka, any thoughts on Manti T'eo?
I didn't really know the story until you just gave me the entire narrative about it.
Yeah.
But man, but that's tough. Just being told like all this stuff. Like, imagine you have a girl on the other side, but it's somebody else. But then you just you still picture them as a girl, and you're like, oh, you have a connection with the person. You told they're dead. They died, like, so you lost that connection.
And your grandma dies the same day.
And then, like, there you go, your grandma dies the same day, and you're like, damn, bro.
Yeah.
Like, why me? Like, why me out of all people? You go out and play, you play well, and then you're told, oh no, I'm alive. I'm just a transgender dude that wants to be a woman. And then it goes to just degrade him on social media and in public and just make fun of him. Like, I'm sorry. That's
the best part is that the girl whose pictures were used for the Facebook profile actually, I think, sued the guy because, hello, you used my pictures to behave like you were me. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
story.
it always goes down the money trail. I mean, I don't know what's going on right now with that situation, if it still has any sort of case going on, but I'm pretty sure somebody getting sued somewhere right now. Positive.
Oh,
Guaranteed.
I'm sure. And they're making money from the Netflix documentary for sure.
No, that too. That too. Yeah, same way.
Second topic of the night. I texted Janka this like at 2 a.m. on Saturday night. I could not believe it. I could not. Leon Edwards knocked out the champ, Kamaru, the Nigerian Nightmare Usman, in the fifth and final round. Nobody thought he could do it. Nobody thought he was going to do it. Everyone thought that Kamaru Usman was untouchable, that no one was going to beat him. And he is ranked, well, I don't know about now, but Kamaru Usman coming to the fight ranked pound for pound best fighter in the world. He got dropped with a leg kick to the face and just literally just dropped. And down goes the champion and new champion, Leon Edwards. Even did the little Conor McGregor strut after he won. Man, I was shocked. I really didn't think that Usman was going to go down like that. But you know what? Something I tweeted, Leon Edwards had a good camp. Looking through his training camp, he looked sharp. And looking at Kamaru Usman's past fights, for me personally, his last fight against Colby Covington, I think Covington won that fight. I literally feel like Covington won that fight. The only reason Covington did not win that fight is because if you are the champion and don't get knocked out, they're not giving you the belt. You have to knock out the champion to get that belt. And that's the only reason why they didn't give it to Covington. But I feel like Covington won that fight against Usman. I feel like Brandon's disagreeing with me.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I mean, the first few rounds might have been a little close, but Usman, I mean, you got to give the credit where credit's due. He was knocking a little bit, but I mean, because staying on topic though, especially the Edwards one, because I saw a bunch of things, the morning after on Twitter where they have like the little like snippets of the coach talking between the rounds to Edwards, saying like, oh, pick yourself up, da da da. I mean. That's like you can make a whole Rocky movie out of this guy's fight. I mean, this guy's encouragement throughout the entire fight over there. I mean, I don't even know who the guys are in his corner, but they are elite. Elite coaches, probably somebody I think that's top talent in the UFC. Dana White might as well get a documentary started right now. Right now, and get a documentary started on Edwards in that fight alone. However, what I'm thinking though, because the leg kick was nasty. But I'm also thinking about ahead. And ahead right now, Jorge Masvidal might fight him. I have a friend that thinks so. I think it's a real possibility. Jorge wants to fight him.
Edwards or Usman? Okay.
Again, I don't want to Usman Masvidal fight for like what, the third, fourth time?
Third time, yeah.
Yeah, just see Usman, stomping his toes and break the sweat off of him. I want Masvidal against Edwards, and this is a more of a fair fight, if you ask me, frame by frame and everything. I mean, this could be a real deal. I mean, I'm telling you, like the Hialeah guy, street fighter, there's no way he loses one-on-one with a guy his frame.
I'm going to have to disagree.
Come on.
I feel like if Kamaru Usman was not in that division, the clear-cut champion in that division is Colby Covington.
I don't want to hear about Colby, man. It's all about Jorge.
Get that chance.
Come on. I don't know, because Colby is a great fighter. I mean, phenomenal. I mean, he does from, Brazilian technique, and obviously, he did train in Coral Gables at that gym where a majority of fighters in the UFC go to, who are founded out in South Florida. I forgot the gym's name, but I know it's in Coral Gables next to you.
MMA Masters?
I believe so. MMA Masters. I believe so. So, obviously, I mean, Colby, phenomenal fighter. But it's just something about Masvidal. It has that Miami spice. like a little 305 Cuban to it. You know what I mean? So there's a little bit of that 305 on top of it. I mean, he's like a Cuban sandwich pressed on together with a café con leche on the side. All right. There's just something
Don't do that
about
to me.
Jorge Masvidal that you just want to see him when it's a South Floridian. I'm telling you, give the man the title fight against Edwards. He will not disappoint.
Listen to me. And this is nothing against Masvidal because we're on the same side. He's from Miami. I'm from Miami. We're on the same side. He hangs around a lot the campaign. We're on the same side here.
Right.
But I think he's fading, man. I feel like the best fight for Masvidal right now that makes sense is against Conor McGregor because they're both in the same trajectory of their careers.
Yep.
And he has a fight coming up December 10th. He's taking on Gilbert Burns. And even that fight, I think like Burns is going to beat Masvidal.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's a UFC. You never know. I mean, Edwards with a flying kick. I mean, you never know. But
John,
again, love to see it.
Okay, so when Daniel texted me what happened, the kick, and
I
everything,
literally texted Jonka at 2 a.m. All I said was, "Down goes Usman."
bro, I was half asleep at that point. I was like, huh? Well, then I wake up the next day, I'm like, down goes Usman. Usman fought yesterday. I don't really watch as much UFC. Well, then so I was like, okay, let me watch the fight. I rewatched the fight. To be honest, the way I was watching it, I thought Usman was the clear. If it went to decision, I think Usman would have won the fight. But the thing is, Edwards did hold him to 5 rounds, and anything can happen the longer you fight.
Yeah.
One little slip, one little mental breakdown, and there you go. Look what happened. There you go. The kick to the face.
Just that one hit.
There's always
Just that one hit.
No matter how small of an underdog you seem, you still have a percentage to win. Anything can happen in a fight. So, and then that's what happened. You just caught him in a good time.
Yeah, but also I gotta say though, I mean the way that, because I don't know if you guys saw, the picture afterwards, like the aftermath of Usman's face, eyes open.
Yeah,
eyes open.
I was a little creeped out because he was like, I'm like, is this guy dead right now?
Is he okay? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like, excuse me? Someone close his eyelids. My goodness. Like
It
a million
was
people
creepy.
for that.
He's not
like,
dead.
No, I mean obviously not, but man, that guy looked shocked. He looked like he was stone cold gone. You know what I mean? Like his eyes were wide open like that. So
something I have to agree with what Conor, because Conor was tweeting like a madman during this fight. And he was saying stuff like, you see, there's no real champ like I. And I was like, oh, whatever. But anyways, he did have a valid point. So supposedly Usman's daughter, he has a little daughter, had to be taken away, like out of the floor and into backstage because like she started like crying a lot. Her dad like that. And I agree with Conor. I think Conor says that to the fights that you shouldn't bring your little children. I think that's something more you can bring them once they're older and they understand the fight game and what is it that they do and how it goes or whatever. But for a little kid that doesn't really like know much or like the sport and they just see their parent getting drop kicked to the floor, like I'm sure that's traumatizing. So I think that was a valid point by Conor.
Yeah,
and I'm not sorry. I don't mean to like, but also it being a little girl. Because if it was a little boy and he likes fighting, little boy was like, ah! Well, she was like, oh my god, daddy, no. So I'm just like, especially being a girl, and most girls down watching UFC, I think they also gotta take that into account. It's like, yeesh.
UFC is brutal, man. It's a brutal sport.
Bro, imagine you being unconscious, eyes open.
Yeah,
bro, like you're even shocked at what happened, and you're basically brain dead.
No, yeah, but that stuff from UFC is like crazy though, man. I mean, I'm getting a little off topic, but I remember I went to the UFC fight and again, Masvidal versus Usman. I went to the fight, and I remember seeing specifically Usman getting knocked out. When he did get knocked out, it wasn't his body that I saw stationary; it was his sweat. you will literally see grown men get the sweat knocked out of them. You know what I mean? Like that's how aggressive, that's how violent this sport is, man. So, I mean, 21 plus, 18 plus, pay-per-view, probably. I don't know. But I would definitely not take a 5-year-old kid to that thing.
Yeah.
Definitely not my own daughter
For
to see
sure.
me get my ass whooped. So that's a guarantee.
Well, finally, the night has come to the certain topic that Janka has been waiting to address, and he's going to get the floor first tonight. He's definitely going to get the first word in. But ladies and gentlemen, Udonis Haslem is returning to the Miami Heat for a 20th season. Janka, the floor is yours, sir.
A couple minutes ago, I said how I reacted. But let me give you a better picture. You take that F word and you put it in all caps, bold, as if this was like a cartoon character. F this, F that, throw this. Listen, I am not watching Miami Heat basketball or any basketball in general next season because I know we are not making squat. You can tell basically how the Heat have not done anything. They have not signed anyone. They re-signed this idiot, this useless piece of trash that says, "Oh, because I have experience, I deserve a spot, the last spot on the roster." He gets paid $2.6 million just to sit down and motivate players on the spot again when he could just do it as a coach and still be on the team. We lost PJ Tucker. We've lost a couple other players. Now our defense isn't as good. But yeah, you know what? Let's bring in an old guy that can't play at all and can't shoot, can't defend, but talks a lot of crap. The Heat are in a downward spiral that they can't see because they're blind to the fact that they think experience, well, not really experience, bench experience, shows them. Every single year that Udonis Haslem has been on the team, it was a build-up to the LeBron era, and then once LeBron left, his minutes were reduced by half, and then lower and lower and lower to the point where he couldn't even play because his play was blasphemous. It was nearly atrocious that he doesn't deserve to be on the court. He averaged, I think, 3 minutes last season. 3 minutes. Why are you going to keep a guy on the court that's old and useless and can't play for 3 minutes on the court and can't shoot? I'm sorry. That he are on my watch list to be obliterated right now because if I see Spoelstra, Pat Riley, or anybody from the Heat team right now, I will give them a piece of my mind on the street, in the corner, in the back of an alley. I don't care where it is. If I have to throw hands, I will. But I'm letting you know right now, I am not watching NBA basketball next season. Count me on it. I'm not wasting my time. Brandon, Daniel, go. You guys. I'm already.
I mean, like, I wouldn't want to pick a fight with Pat Riley, but I might have to meet Eric Spoelstra in the alleyway, though. But, I mean, from the least what I know of UD coming back to the Miami Heat, obviously that door has always been open from the Heat franchise because it's almost like it's not that they owe him, but it's like, they love him there. They love him for the roster and the character building. But as you said, John, as a coach, like Juwan Howard came on the Heat roster, switched to be an assistant coach, and now he's, head guy over there in Michigan. You're trying to tell me you couldn't have Udonis Haslem at least as some sort of role on the franchise, while at least bring it in maybe a young bull somewhere that we saw in the G League or even from the Summer League over the time in July. Better yet, the one thing that was speculated around this entire offseason that I was trying to see on my radar, Carmelo Anthony possibly going to Miami. That dream is gone. And the fact that we have guys like Kamaru Anthony, Trevor Ariza, who again, guys who are kind of beyond their own age.
Boy Howard.
Like, the fact is, they can give you more than 5 minutes of offense. They give more fun than 5 minutes of conditioning. Udonis Haslem can barely even get his hair back on his head. All right? The guy looks like he's balding. No offense to the guy. Love OG. But the man just does not seem capable enough besides what they do in practice scrimmages. I mean, he can't play a full NBA game. I can't even think that he even, fits anywhere on this roster. I mean, we're going to say, like, Bam Adebayo with Udonis Haslem, right? In the front court. You can't say that. For screens for Duncan Robinson. You can't do that. So in reality, I mean, the Miami Heat with Udonis Haslem on roster, this has to be their last year.
Yeah.
This has to be a retirement tour, and I'm expecting it to be a retirement tour because, from at least the contract standpoints, I mean, he's not getting any more money than a veteran minimum per year, and a single year after that. So this has to be the final year for UD. This might be his final ride around. And if you're a Heat fan, if you were there for 06, the 2013, 2011, whatever it was, he run, dominant Heat team that made it a finals appearance, even got a championship, go see UD in person right now because you won't be able to see him in past 2023. That I know. That I do know.
Okay. Here's my point. I love UD. I think every Heat fan loves UD. I appreciate everything he's done for this team. I'm just not understanding. It hasn't been made clear. I'm not understanding what it is, why he can't be an assistant coach from what he's doing now as a player. Now, again, gotten a lot of heat. I know I think there's people that think like us, but there's people obviously that are Heat fanatics and don't know much basketball and say, "Oh, can you say that about Udonis Haslem?" Listen, he's taking up space. He's taking up good oxygen inside the arena. That we could be using. I've been very frustrated with the Miami Heat this offseason. I feel like a lot of teams in the Eastern Conference have gotten much better, and the Heat have just stayed the same. But then it leads me to Brandon's point that I've been pointing out for quite some time now, that they haven't re-signed Tyler Hero. So, like, what is going on? So, I don't know. But in terms of UD, again, love the guy, but, like, at this point, you're only going – I get it. He has a sentimental – and I'm not being, I don't want to be rude, but, like, I get it. You have a sentimental deal or, commitment to his dad that he was going to play 20 seasons in the NBA. I get that. But then again, I feel like you're hurting. I agree with Jonka's take this afternoon in his plug of the week, where it's a bit selfish because you are hurting. If you love the Miami Heat and you're a Miami Heat lifer, you understand that you're hurting the team because they could be using that money to acquire another piece to the puzzle that is going to help this Miami Heat team move forward, or at least improve, get better, something that they ultimately need in order to compete for a championship. It's just I don't get it. I just hasn't been clear to me what is that reason why he has to and must be a player and be an assistant coach. I don't get it.
Yeah, but one of the biggest things I can find, because obviously, with UD now back on the roster, the final thing is between, giving Tyler Hero that contract extension, which will be like $25 million annually, most likely, if it does happen, or trade him away with a package deal for Kevin Durant. I mean, besides the money aspect of it, besides, UD playing 20 years in the NBA, obviously promised to his father, and probably one of the biggest things that he mentioned during his press conference in front of the I believe it was a training camp for kids. Yeah. So, but besides that, as an organization, you got to put guys on roster to replace. I mean, as Jonka said in his take, PJ Tucker was a huge part of that Heat's backbone, and at least defensively, huge part of that defense. And again, UD talks about Heat culture, emphasizing Heat culture. If it's not culture on the court, then it's never going to be shown to anybody in the public. All right? You can do whatever you want in the practice, obviously work in the dark, huge parts of any sort of athlete's game. But the product on the court, at the end of the day, it's what's going to get you to the finals, right? It's what we see, production-wise, that is going to make it past to an NBA Finals berth or even an NBA Finals championship for the Miami Heat. because they were only a game away from making their second appearance in the past 3 years. So I think, in my honest opinion, I've been saying this throughout this entire offseason for the Miami Heat aspect of things, that Pat Riley wants to run it back with his team. He likes what he has on roster. However, at the same time, everybody's rebuilding. Everyone's reloading, right? I mean, Malcolm Brogdon went to the Boston Celtics. All right. Giannis Antetokounmpo, he's going to be back with Milwaukee, guaranteed, for another finals kind of run. All right. They still have Drew Holiday, Bobby Portis, and Serge Ibaka is still on that roster. I don't know if he even be, contentionally, a rotational player on there. But then again, they got pieces that they could use. Same thing what I mentioned in my argument. Carmelo Anthony could be a piece you could potentially use, right? Trevor Ariza, potentially. I mean, shoot, Colin Sexton was available for a long time because the Cavaliers didn't want to pay him. With all the things that are going on right now with the Kevin Durant possibly going to Miami and Tyler Hero, you don't want to give him the extension. If you don't want to give Tyler Hero the extension, go out and get Colin Sexton, who's probably one of the best defensive guards at his age. And I hate saying young guy and all that stuff, but the Miami Heat front office has leaked the opportunities throughout the entire offseason to pick up phenomenal players who are undervalued. The only issue, Udonis Haslem coming back on roster, and somehow, some way, Kevin Durant holding everything back for the front office and make other moves. So
it just infuriates me because Jay Crowder was working out at FIU yesterday.
Exactly.
We could sign that man, bring him back. He can fill that hole with PJ Tucker. But no, that money is going to UD. And the fact that they even sent people in a hurry, the first thing they did in the offseason was they sent people in a hurry to his house. Like, the man was Kevin Durant. Like, I get it, loyalty and stuff like that. I get that. Completely understand that. But I wouldn't have made that like the number one target and priority in your offseason.
Exactly. They even try to stop PJ Tucker before leaving to Philadelphia. You know what I mean? Like, they went directly to Udonis Haslem's house basically the week after the finals, right? And then they're like, "Oh, where's PJ at? Oh, he's taking his shoes and he's going out to Philadelphia. Oh, okay. We're keeping Victor though? Yeah, we'll keep Victor for like maybe a year or two. Oh, okay. The Miami Heat, they have a roster to run it back, but for how many years? How many years? That's the real question for every team.
They're too small. They got no size. And when the three is not working, it's just jacking up a bunch of three after three after three from Gabe Vincent, Duncan Robinson, who was driving me absolutely insane in the playoffs, who could not make a dang bucket. Like, Bam Adebayo, who, I'm just sorry, I love Bam. I have his jersey, but extremely frustrating that I see him jaunting around the Miami Pro League, and everyone's like, "Oh, he played great in the Pro League." And in my mind, it's just, I guess it's a defensive thing as a Heat fan. In my mind, I'm like, well, that's great. He played great in the Pro League, but he played like a scared, frightened cat in the playoffs against the Celtics. The man was scared of Al Horford.
Hey. Don't you put disrespect on OG Al Horford, man. Don't you do that.
I'm not any disrespect on Al Horford, but you damn well know that Bam Adebayo is much younger and stronger and could put moves on that guy.
I don't know, man. That Dominican muscle is like...
Think about this for a second. Let's say if the Heat kept PJ Tucker, but they did not keep Haslem. We bring in, let's say, Dwight Howard instead of Haslem. Now we have somebody that can help Adebayo when he's struggling against somebody, and then put in Dwight Howard, who is a veteran, and he is a really good center that played for that championship team with the Lakers in 2020 in the bubble. So now you got championship experience, which supposedly that's what Haslem has. And now you bring that into a person that can play. Now you got minutes off the bench. As you get Adebayo rest up a little bit, and then you let him come in. So it's like, interchangeable thing. But when you have a player that doesn't play, you can't interchange. So now Adebayo has to work harder and not smarter. So it makes it difficult for him to consistently play at a high level.
Listen, let's stay on that topic of the Heat. Let's talk about their schedule, the key games. Obviously, opening night, for the Heat Wednesday, October 19th at 7:30 against the Chicago Bulls. They're opening the season against the Bulls. Then right off the bat, on Friday, October 21st, they face this man's Boston Celtics. That's a rematch of the Eastern Conference Finals right there. Then on October 27th, they got the Golden State Warriors. We jump into November, and the Heat will have, I believe, it's not November. Am I seeing it wrong? They have the Celtics again in November. Or here we go. November 14th, they have the Phoenix Suns. So that's another marquee matchup for Miami.
Boston on the 30th.
Yep.
Yeah. In December, we have December 17th, the Mexico City game against the San Antonio Spurs. I feel like that is important to highlight. December 28th, they have the LA Lakers. And then the Bucks on January 12th, they have back-to-back against the Bucks. January 8th, they have the Brooklyn Nets. And then looking to the end of the season, April 9th, they close the season off against the Orlando Magic on a Sunday afternoon. I'm still disappointed that there's no Christmas Day game for the Heat. I still continue to say that the league absolutely hates Miami.
No, yeah. Plus, because again, I actually did an article about this when the Heat schedule did get released. You can find it on our website. But funny enough, we don't get the Christmas game, but we get the Martin Luther King game against the Atlanta Hawks in the middle of the day, around like 3:30, I believe. Yeah. So we still get a holiday, game technically, but the Christmas games, like we're the only team excluded out of the Eastern Conference that made it to the second round that didn't get a Christmas game. You know who we got replaced by? The Knicks, which is like, put more salt in the wound for the Miami Heat against our rivals, New York. But I do like kind of the schedule that they did for the NBA. They did like a rivalry week. So for the rivalry for the Boston Celtics, they face off against Miami, and then the Orlando Magic of the in-state rivalry against the Heat as well. So Boston and Orlando do visit against the Heat for a rivalry week. And then as we mentioned before, the Boston Celtics, again, second game of the season. That'll be the first ever televised game of the year for the Miami Heat. However, the first 14 games, 10 of them will be at home. 10 games at home to start the season, that's home cooking real quick. All right? That means the Heat might have a 600 guarantee, most likely above 500 record to start off the year in the first 14, 15 games. So I'm telling you, even though the Heat don't have a Christmas game, we talk about 22 nationally televised games across for this season. We talk about our West Coast trip being basically around that New Year's Eve, New Year's. So, the schedule itself, it's fitting enough where not only did they, make a schedule where it helps us out against our competition, but they also reduced travel to almost 41,000 miles for all the NBA teams. So the Miami will have games back-to-back on the road that won't be like jet lag, right? They won't be having like some sort of horrible, backdrop to their physical aspect. I think the Miami Heat will have a healthy roster just the way that the schedule is built in. I really do. And honestly, I'm more excited for this game. As you mentioned before, LeBron James going against the Miami Heat later on in this season. I don't know why, but for the second year in a row, we're going to be ending the season against the Orlando Magic. But for some reason, I would love to see Paulo Banchero going against Jimmy Butler. I think those two colliding, I think that would actually be a really good matchup. So there's a lot of good games coming up this year.
Switching gears here to the final 10 minutes of tonight's show. We talked about this last week. We're going to talk about it again. Deshaun Watson back in the news. His suspension went from 6 games, guys, to 11 games. Whoop-de-doo. My opinion is the man should not be able to play football again this year. If they banned him for life, I'd be okay with that too. I don't get it. Like some people, like Michael Vick was accused of paying money and all this stuff for dog fighting. And like, it's still bad. That's still a bad thing. It's lesser of the evils here. But like you're letting Deshaun Watson, like Ray Rice got kicked out of the league, but Deshaun Watson gets to play.
Right.
I
It makes
don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah. And you know what's the worst part about all this? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I actually did my research. The game he's supposed to come back would actually be going against the Texans.
Yes.
This is, I don't know if they did this on purpose. I don't know what they did for the whole, investigation and furthermore, but the money deals coming back to play against your former team after all this, they know they know what they are doing in the NFL front office with Roger Goodell.
It's almost too good to be true type of thing.
It's ridiculous. Just ban the guy for, this season. And if all this stuff is still going on, ban him the next season. And then by then, just terminate the contract. Terminate the contract.
Yeah, I don't get it. I really don't understand it. And then again, thinking from the Cleveland Browns standpoint, like, why did you get this guy? Now he's gonna be out. You're not gonna get this guy back until like week 13. So like, what good is it doing for you? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
I'll tell you why they did it. I'll tell you why right now.
Tell me.
The Cleveland Browns did that because they are the Cleveland Browns.
Guys,
think about this. They were a complete dog doo-doo. And then all of a sudden, they bring Baker Mayfield, all these first-round picks. They get better. They make the playoffs. They're on the verge of almost making the conference finals. Or like the
Super Bowl.
Super Bowl.
You're on the verge of making this.
Yeah. My bad. Yeah. Sorry, I lose track of these losers.
No, of course. But
and then all of a sudden, hey, let's get rid of our starting quarterback. Let's trade him.
Who is the reason? Who is the reason why they're relevant? They became relevant. The sole reason.
It makes no sense.
Like I said, because they are the Cleveland Browns, they will always be the losing Cleveland Browns.
You know who it was? You know who made this decision? It was Bill Belichick's dog at the computer. It was Bill Belichick's dog at the computer.
The Husky at work, man. Always rooting for the AFC. But actually, funny enough, because I believe it was announced this week, if not today, Baker Mayfield is the week 1 starter for the Panthers.
Yep.
So let me tell you, one leaf turns aside. Baker, he's still moving. He's still rocking in the NFL. Deshaun Watson, even though his career really short, hopefully, with Cleveland, won't be the same as Baker. Baker's going to do great things in Carolina. I guarantee you that.
Wait, but is it Carolina? Isn't Carolina playing Cleveland week 1?
Not that I believe so. Not that. Well, first of all,
I can check.
But from what I know of, Deshaun Watson is supposed to be back when they do play the Texans. And again, just ban the guy. Just ban the guy.
No, yeah, they do. They play them week 1.
Yeah.
Browns and Panthers.
Ain't no way. It is gonna take the over. If you're in the betting, take the over. Take the over on Carolina.
The Browns are favored.
Yeah. Jacoby Brissett's gonna go crazy, right?
Hey,
yeah,
don't make fun of my boy Jacoby.
Okay, but how about we calm down? If he finished that game against the Raiders the other year, I would have maybe taking my shots a little bit back. But
okay.
I'm telling you right now, take the over. Baker Mayfield, he's gonna be that guy, underdog. Don't even know the guy, but he's looking kind of dangerous out on the field. He's looking kind of dangerous out on the field.
We have 5 minutes left, and I want to brag about something. I believe I drafted the best team in our fantasy league. I believe that I drafted the best team in our fantasy league.
I don't know about that.
You really don't think my team is good?
Are you really going to beat my Matthew Stafford, Tyreek Hill, A.J. Brown? Oh, wait, hold up. Derrick Henry, right, with Josh Jacobs on the sidelines, I don't think you can beat that. I highly doubt you can beat that.
Okay. I think I can beat it. Are you ready? Justin Herbert, Austin Eckler. Okay, Saquon, that was an auto pick. That was not me.
Okay.
That was an auto pick. That was not me. Cooper Kupp, Higgins, Dalton Schultz, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Harrison Butker, Nick Bosa, Wilkins from the Miami Dolphins, Denzel Perryman from the Raiders, Holcomb from the Washington Commanders, Xavier Woods, and Trayvon Diggs. But it gets better. We're not done there.
Oh my gosh.
Guess who's my backup quarterback?
Who's that?
The man himself, the man in the arena, Tom Brady. Thomas freaking Brady.
But the real question is, will you start him or will you have him behind Herbert? That's the real question.
Sorry, I didn't ask for that part yet. Cam Akers. Hollywood Brown, baby.
Okay, I can respect it.
Jerry Jeudy was available, so I took him.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to like this one, Brandon. I put this one in there just for you. I got Yaseki.
There we go.
And then we got, to pair it, just a chef's kiss to Harrison Butker, I got Nick Folk, which I'm sure that Jonka absolutely would love to have him since that's his kicker.
It's a good team. It's a good team, but
you see. Thank you for being a good sport.
But now, the one thing, you got Saquon Barkley, and I was like, wait, why?
Oh,
but then the one thing I've always, from doing fantasy a couple years already, is that even though I love Tom Brady, and I just got Tom Brady because I was just a fanboy, but I've noticed that Tom Brady is more of just a quarterback to watch than have on your roster, because he's not one to score a lot of points.
I think
he's one just like, if he's on the 2-yard line, he's not gonna throw the ball. He's gonna hand it off to Fournette or Ronald Jones, whoever, and just get the easy touchdown. He's not one just to get all these touchdowns and just rush it.
I personally think that his numbers go up in the postseason. Brandon agrees.
That's valid. It's valid.
It's valid.
Yep.
Now, I will laugh because I'm here on the app and I see top free agents, and I'm laughing because no one's picked them up. But
Dak Prescott? No, wait, who?
Mitch Trubisky. No one picked Trubisky.
Man, I don't even think he's going to be the starter after all this stuff with the Steelers, man. But
Jonka, how could you?
What?
You didn't pick up your boy Njoku.
No, he's inconsistent. He's always getting injured.
Man, come on. At least as a backup.
I know. I wanted Njoku, but then I'm like, bro, it's either Njoku or it was Hawkinson or somebody else, or I forgot who.
Listen,
I just saw Hawkinson.
I will tell you guys, and I'm telling you this as friends, the Cowboys kicker Maher is available. Mm-hmm. I'd rather you guys put yourself in a coffin than pick him up.
Oh, no, yeah, for sure.
Every time that man goes to kick, like, this is my water bottle, right? I'm watching the game. I'm drinking some water. When Maher goes to kick a field goal, even if it's a 25-yarder,
the nerves come in.
I don't trust that guy. Every time he makes a field goal, I'm like, oh, thank God. I don't trust that guy.
No, but I mean, despite how I started this podcast with the bad take of the week, I gotta let you know right now, I have the GOAT in Jason Sanders on my team. If we're talking about best specialists out there, Miami Dolphins Sanders. You know what? Hot take, he's better than Justin Tucker. Hot take, he's better than Justin Tucker.
I got Harrison Butker.
I got Ryan Suckup.
I got Butker. I think I got the best kicker in the league.
Okay, but I think I have the cream of the crop team. I think a team that's like not too many big names, but they do their job well and they do it well. Aaron Rodgers, hardly any turnovers, any interceptions. So that's good for me.
I think that I thought about drafting him, but I think it's a bad pickup. You know why? Because even though it is Aaron Rodgers, he's got no one to throw the ball to.
Hey, but remember, that's also a good thing because now he has to test wide receivers. He has got to throw at some point. You got to test his receivers out.
Yeah, but you got no wide receivers that are good.
Hey, he's got to throw it. If you got to throw, you got to throw it.
That Brandon, he's got no receivers to throw it to.
I mean, look, as long as it's Aaron Rodgers, he's gonna figure it out. You know what I mean? He's gonna figure it out.
Oh, okay. You're like Dr.
No,
Phil.
because but let's be realistic.
Because I pick up Tom Brady and you guys give me crap. Oh, he's not. He doesn't get you much points, but he gets Aaron Rodgers and you kiss up to him.
But let's be honest, all right. Jordy Nelson and Devontae Adams, probably the best recent wide receivers he's had in the past decade. How many NFC Championship appearances has he been to? Right? I mean, the guy's ridiculous. He'll find a way with anybody on the field. And I didn't mean anybody. Put me on the field.
Who's the guy he had as a receiver? I forgot his name.
Scanling?
No, he was on the Packers. He was on the Packers and he went to the Cowboys. And he left the Cowboys already. He didn't.
Cobb?
Randall Cobb?
Randall Cobb. Yeah.
But I'm telling you, those guys. But also, let me tell you right now, because as I mentioned before, Matthew Stafford, Henry, Brown. I'm looking at my list right now. I have the best defensive men out there in the NFL. I'm talking Myles Garrett, defensive line. Bobby Wagner, right behind Devin White for linebacker. And I haven't got to my DBs yet. DB Nation, stand up. Xavier Howard. From where? I believe it was... I don't even remember the university. I might have to remind myself it's something with a the. But I'll let you know right now, I'm also followed by Derwin James going in the state of Florida for that one. So defensively, I'm set. And Matthew Stafford, he's like me and Tony Romo. All right? I'll never replace him. Never.
When it comes to DBs, I'm lockdown nation right now. Xavier Woods and Trevon Diggs, bro. Locked down.
I mean, Diggs is all right. I'll give you Diggs. But I'm letting you know right now, I mean, no one's beating my quarterback, though. I'm hot. You know what I think? Matthew Stafford, top 5 quarterback this season again. And yes, I mean again because I loved him last year. The moment I saw him lose that game on Thanksgiving against the Chicago Bears a couple of years back, I knew for a fact he was going to be something special. You know what I mean? The guy has the grit. He's that grind. It's just too good. It's too good.
It's almost like cousins.
I ended up with Leonard Fournette, Joe Mixon, Michael Pittman, Jamar Chase, Hawkinson, then Deontay Johnson from the Steelers. I think he's going to have a big year. Ryan Suckup. And now my defense. I think I have the best defense.
I have Nick Bosa, okay?
Okay, I got Joey Bosa. I got Hubbard, Singleton, Defensive Player of the Year, TJ Watt, J.C. Jackson, and Antoine Winfield Jr.
That's you
like that. You like that.
That was pretty good. I'm not going to lie.
And then I got Derek Carr, Tony Pollard, Devontae Smith, Sutton, Mike Williams, and Fairmuth.
Tony Pollard's not a bad pickup, but he's going to be getting most of his reps behind Zeke.
I know. That's why I have him on my bench.
Oh, yeah. But the Derek Carr move is good. Love the Derek Carr move.
You're such a hater, Brandon.
I'm not a hate. What? Because I like Derek Carr? I'm just saying.
You are hating on. You know what? That's fine, sir. You bet on it. When it comes to our our matchup, is going to be. I'm not even talking to you that week.
Bro, put Tom Brady in the game. Guarantee his old lineman puts him in the hospital. Guarantee.
You know what? Like that week, I'm just gonna talk to Donk on the show. I'm not even gonna acknowledge you.
Oh, that week is gonna be nice.
Well, we've reached our time, guys. That'll be it for this week's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you guys next week for a brand new episode. Have a good rest of your week and take care and good night.